Hi, Dan Klatt here. Welcome to this two-part. This is part one of our two-part Operation Greatness podcast. This is a very, very important podcast we're doing. I'll talk about that shortly. First, if someone generously shared this podcast with you because they wanted to help you transform your life, thank them very much because they did an incredible service to you. They contributed to your transformation and your liberation. So thank them profusely for the gift of sharing this podcast with them. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Dan Klatt. I am the founder of OperationGreatness.com, and I am also the author of Reignited America and several other books. And I'm happy that you chose to work with us in being the inspired visionary leader of your community, your whole local area, as well as all of your online friends, all of whom, especially through this Operation Greatness podcast, you are able to lead, inspire, transform, and liberate, LITL, doing a little more today in being of greater service to more people. This is your destiny. You are the inspired visionary leader. And so part one, which we're doing right here, is we're seeing where you are, when we're going to turn that into where you are unknowingly serving the darkness rather than being the light you are. See, this is very, very important. I'm getting chills here just feeling this. I want you to feel this, not just hear this. I want you to truly listen. It's called Shravana in Sanskrit, which means to truly hear this message. And I want you to feel it as well. You know that this is shifting you back to your destiny and getting out of the programming and not serving the darkness and being the light you are. Because after all, you are God's gift to the world. And by you being that gift, by you focusing on how can I be of greater service to more people, that's how you are serving God and being that gift. The world needs you being right here now. So this is what we're doing today with this Operation Greatness podcast. And this podcast is also today's Operation Greatness meeting for our chapter leaders through our Private Wealth Alliance. That's through operationgreatness.com/leader. You're going to want to lead your own Operation Greatness chapter because that is how you are being of greatest service to the most people, fulfilling and honoring and living your divine design, duty, destiny, dharma. We'll talk about that a little as appropriate in this conversation. And the second part, which I think you will be able to hear tomorrow, is rebuilding community. Your leadership is needed now. Because this is coming out of the interview that just published yesterday. It's on medium.com. The interview that I did about, actually I was asked to cover the topic, how can we end the epidemic of loneliness in our young people today? And that question, well, we're going to talk about all of that in the part two of this Operation Greatness podcast, which is, you'll be able to hear that, I think, tomorrow. And that's about rebuilding community. Your leadership is needed. So you see how both of those are important. and connecting the dots, linking those two, I'm inviting you to see how by you no longer serving the darkness and being the light you are, how you are rebuilding community and being the leader your community needs and everyone connected with you needs, because, well, what is the source of light? Well, you are the source of light, and what does the light do? It dispels the darkness anywhere it still remains. This is the time where the light is overcoming the darkness, and that's what we're talking about primarily today. So let's get right into it. You're going to want to take notes on the insights that I'm sharing. In fact, right now, go back to the beginning of this conversation and relate what I'm saying to your life. Think about, how is this true for me? How am I relating this to what's happening currently in my life? The issues that I'm facing, the adversities I am dealing with right now. How am I the light dispelling the darkness, and where was I serving the darkness instead of being the light I am? And then even looking at that premise, wow, he's saying, I am here to be the light and I am God's gift to the world. Is that true? And feel into that. See, I'm getting chills again here. Meditate on that, contemplate that, receive that. Have that inner knowing, reconnect with your center. I call it give in and go within, turning your attention in yourself, not from the outside. And that is, in fact, where you were unknowingly serving the darkness instead of the light. So every insight that I'm making here, every point that I'm sharing with you here, look at it yourself. Look at it, shine the light of your awareness on that insight and see, is this true? How is this true for me? How can I use this to become more in my center, more in my power, to be the light I am here to be? What do I think about that? He says, I am God's gift to the world. That's really transformational for me to even consider that. Is that true? I am here for what? What is the purpose of my life? Well, he's saying I'm here to be of greater service to more people. And then think about that. Like, okay, I'm here to serve people. He's saying, is that true? Do I believe that? How much do I know that to be true? And then, okay, so like, when was the time that I was most contributing meaningfully to other people? When was I serving people the most in the past? Like for me, what comes to mind immediately was when I was the assistant managing editor of the last newspaper where I worked. And so every day I came in there at 6 a.m., and I edited the local stories, and I looked at what was on the wire for that day, and I decided what I wanted to lay out, what I wanted to put on my front page, and, what I was going to lead with, like, was it a local story, or was it a national story, or international, whatever the case was. And, so I did all of that, and I laid out the front page, and then I edited a few, when they were on, I went down to composing. This was back before everything was digitally. We had like physical sheets with the stories printed on them, and I would proofread the pages, the headlines, the stories, and make sure everything was right. And so everyone who got that day's edition, I was serving them. That was a lot of people, but it wasn't a depth of service that like my coaching programs like OperationGreatness.com/leader have had. And that's, everything is a combination of quantity and quality. The number of people you are serving versus how much you are serving them. And either way, in both cases, this is what I want you to really see when Dan says that I am God's gift to the world, I want you to ask yourself this and really contemplate this, go deep within this. I am God's gift to the world, so the more I am giving that gift and the more valuable that gift is, the more I am serving the people. It is my destiny, it is my honor, it is my gift, it is my blessing, it is my duty to serve, to lead, inspire, transform, and liberate. And really feel those words, because by you being that leader, by you being that inspiration, by you being that source of transformation among the people you are serving, you are being God's gift. That's how you're making the most difference and impact and contribution in their lives, right? And all of that is your source of reward. It's not what can I do to make money, it's how can I make the greatest difference and have the most impact on the people I can reach. I am here to transform, and that is how life rewards you. The feedback you are getting from being of service is the money that you receive. You notice how most people get that wrong? Like, I want to make a lot of money. I want to live high on the, hog is the expression. I want to have the nicest things in life, and that costs money. So I'm going to become a lawyer, a banker, a corporate vice president, a president. So then you study corporate law, management, consulting, whatever it is. Or I'm going to be a doctor. But no, the doctor is different. That's an example of more like being in harmony or alignment with this. Because I want to make a difference to people. I'm very good with my hands. And I'm a healer. And so I'm going to do my profession. I'm going to make my difference, my impact in the world. And this skill, like as a surgeon, like one of my relatives is a ophthalmologist, I think it's called. Like, she does eye surgery. And so that's a very valuable skill because you're helping people see better. And that's what you are doing, right? Even by sharing this Operation Greatness podcast with every one of your online friends and actively leading them through this transformation, then you are helping them see better themselves by removing the darkness that had held them back. And the amount you are serving people is the cause of the rewards that you are getting in life. Right? So I want you to really draw that connection. The more of a difference you are making, the more life is supporting you in making that difference even more, in being God's gift even more. The value of the gift you are can serve that many more people that much more. So by you working on yourself, it is absolutely in service to humanity to work on yourself, to become the best version of yourself. You're not being self-centered or selfish. No, you are being very generous and loving and giving, because then the value of your gift is so much greater. You are that much more of a contribution, of a leader, of an inspiration, of a source of transformation and liberation, doing a little more LITL today than you did before in being of greater service. You see how that works? You see, why am I giving so much? Like when you go to operationgreatness.com/leader, and even when you're part of our Elevating Humanity community, which is freely given to you, and you're going through our $120,000 coaching program that is freely given to you. It's about being of service. It's about helping you become the inspired visionary leader. It is your destiny. It is your gift. It is your duty to be. You see that, right? Because we are all here to serve each other as much as we can. And this is how you are being the light you are. Right? So let's go back to the foundation, the context of the inspiration for this Operation Greatness transformation. Our show, this is what came to mind for me as the inspiration for our show, and I love this juxtaposition, and I'm inviting you to really look at this in your life, because I'm asking you, where are you serving the darkness instead of being the light you are? Unknowingly, I realize this is all unconscious, and yet it's important to shine the light of awareness on this question. Where are you currently unknowingly serving the darkness instead of being the light the world needs you being? The context for this is, okay, so I have two people in my life, they're tenants of mine, and I don't understand this because I'm not wired this way. It's bright in the room, like the kitchen, let's say, and because it's daylight, and yet they go on there and they turn on the kitchen light, and then they also turn on the light over the stove when they're in the kitchen, and then they leave the kitchen and they leave both lights on. And that has always kind of like caught my attention, because I'm not a wasteful person. I don't want to waste resources and electricity, and because I love the earth, and I don't want to, like a light bulb, maybe it's not a big deal to you, but when you're a loving person toward the earth, the environment, I guess I've been an environmentalist since the 1990s, consciously, maybe the late, 1980s, I don't know. But anyway, like it takes a lot of raw material from the earth to make that light bulb, and then it's producing pollution to use electricity. So if I can minimize my impact on the planet, I'm loving the earth, and that's an important way, or it's not an insignificant way for me to love the earth, right? But anyway, these people, they don't have that same mentality. They leave the light on for 20, 30 minutes because, it's daylight, so they don't need the light, and they leave it on, and they, leave and go on with their day, and the light's still on. Well, that's just completely wasteful. It's like disrespectful to the earth, to me, and it's, that's not how I am. And so I started to think this morning, like, wait a minute, are you so in the dark? Is your life so dark that you need to add extra light just to see things like by normal light? Like, am I that much more of the light that I don't need light? Because I'm kind of like the opposite. Like, I'm out there in my office, which is really called the Great Room, and it's like nighttime, dark. It's like, sunset, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching the sunset through the 6 windows in my office, and it's beautiful and I like that, but it's dark and I'm still doing my work without any extra light. And then maybe it's past darkness and then I'll turn on some like Christmas tree lights that I like that are kind of soft lighting. And that's how I am. And I'm thinking, like, is that because I am so much more light? I'm being the light and they're not, and that was the context, the inspiration for this conversation. So where are you in that spectrum or continuum? Do you have to have the light on even when it's light already, it's daylight? Or are you like, you're so bright, you're so of the light, you're shining your light, and you really don't need much light at all? I mean, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I was dating a woman, and because I used to think like I needed to have, like when I'm walking in the dark, I used to think I needed to have the light on the phone so I wouldn't fall and trip. And this woman was like, no, why would you want to have the light? It's because then you're disrupting nature. And she showed me that I can see very well without any light, just by the light of the stars. And that's more like being at peace and in unity, like being one with life, with the universe, with God, communing with life and with God. And there is no need for any light to walk at night. And it's, in fact, more in alignment or harmony with nature to be without light and walking at night. And it's so beautiful and peaceful. That is a true gift. If you haven't experienced that yourself, please do that. It chills. It's just, that's how we are meant to live. Without all of this additional stuff like lighting and, But anyway, so let's look at this from this inspiration in this context of, are you serving the darkness instead of being the light? And all of this comes from this example of these two people, because like one of them thinks that we don't have to pay taxes, the earth is flat, and it doesn't matter which person you cast your vote to be your president or your congressman or your senator or the dog catcher. Like all of these things, all of this is just the few families that control everything. And it's all about destroying everyone. And I mean, so if somebody, maybe all of that is true, and yet if somebody gives that their attention, that is what they're giving their power, that's what they're feeding, that's how they are creating their lives. That's darkness. Versus, I mean, like there are, this is political, right? Okay. So there are those that think, the QAnon people who think that, like during the whole Biden administration, that President Trump was actually the commander-in-chief. And that's what, when you say 45-47, it doesn't say 45, 47, like there was this 4-year gap where President Trump was not in command, that this Biden guy was. And that's, like I call that the attempted totalitarian takeover, which began, in March of 2020 or in January of 2020 in China and other places, but it came to America in March of 2020, the attempted totalitarian takeover, or I call it Fraud 1.0. And I mean, but even that is, if I give my power to that, then that is what I am feeding, and that's what I'm making stronger. And by the way, if this is new to you, then for sure go to operationgreatness.com/leader and do the 3 Raising Humans podcasts, Operation Greatness chapter meetings that we're doing together there, as well as Becoming Unlimited, because we talk about there are those who believe that there are entities that feed off of our fear and manipulate us into holding us down and keeping us fighting each other. That's why, like the industrial, military, censorship, pharmaceutical, banking, cartel, war machine, industrial complex. I mean, like there are those who believe that the structures of the world are, this one woman I dated, she's the one who put it most concisely. She calls it the enslavement matrix. And yet, is that feeding the darkness if somebody believes all of this and empowers all of that, and then they think, oh, the system is rigged against me, I cannot become successful, I cannot make money? I mean, that's a disempowering belief, right? Whereas, that's the opposite of being the light you are, which the world needs now. So, this is where I'm asking you this question yourself. Where are you serving the darkness unknowingly instead of being the light you are? So, how do you answer that question? Where are you unknowingly giving your attention, which is your power, out here to something outside of you, to something that you could say is the shadow or the darkness? And when we look at a light, like here is a source of light and I can see the light on my shirt, and yet when I put something in front of the light, it causes darkness. Oh, I thought that was an area of darkness, but here you can see a shadow, right? That shadow, you could say, is the darkness, but what is causing that darkness? Something obstructing the light, right? I mean, this is, when we're doing, you as our Operation Greatness chapter leader, you're getting the video of our podcast, and this is our Operation Greatness chapter meeting that we're doing together through operationgreatness.com/leader. When you're just listening to the podcast, I forget, because I'm watching the video as I'm recording this, I forget that I like to watch videos more than hearing podcasts. So what I was doing was putting my hand in front of the light, and then that's causing a shadow on the other side of the hand, and that's the darkness that we see in the world. And yet, what is causing that darkness? Well, something obstructing the light, right? I mean, that's pretty logical from a physics standpoint, or just a reality. That's how life works, right? A shadow is not anything real by itself. You can only look to an obstruction of the light as the source of the shadow, and if you try to change the shadow, and if you become fearful of the shadow, like, oh my God, I'm surrounded by darkness now, well, okay, But what does that really mean? It means you are the one probably obstructing the light. So turn back to the light, and then you become the light again, or you become aware of the light you are again. That's really, if you can watch this with your Operation Greatness chapter, as an Operation Greatness chapter leader, and becoming part of our chapter leader Private Wealth Alliance through operationgreatness.com/leader, you get the visual on this, because before I was turning my hand away from the light and then focusing on the shadow that obstruction created, but then turning my hand to the light, and you can see the light on my hand. That's very moving to really appreciate this visual, this metaphor, because how many people, including you likely, are doing this, or at least were doing this. And when you turn back to the light, then you become bright, and that's when the light off of you is lighting the world and dispelling the darkness everywhere it still had remained before you removed it, by shining the light you are. So let's go deeper into that metaphor, because it's so poignant, so moving, so liberational by itself. Because you could say, well, let me ask you this. Are you know that Jesus is the example of being the light. Like I say, if you think of a line, a vertical line, from the bottom to the top, and that is the spectrum of percentage, 0 to 100%, reflecting how open are you to receiving God. 0% is 100% ego or ignorance, and 100% is totally open to God. And you could also say that's 100% knowledge. And where are you on that spectrum? Because your work is opening fully to receiving God, 100%, 100 out of 100. And Jesus is the example of what that looks like, what that is for us, because Jesus was 100% open. And what did Jesus famously say? All these things that I have done, you will do yourself. And then he added something really important. He said, and so much more. That's your challenge. And you could say that is your life's work. Is your work is opening fully 100% to God, to receiving God, and your purpose is extending God fully 100% in the world, because you are God's gift to the world. You are God's instrument for miracles. So for you to open fully to the presence of God in your life, that's allowing God to work through you to lead, inspire, transform, and liberate all your online friends as well as everyone in your local community. That's your purpose. Is there any question about any of that? I hope that's 100% clear to you. So, my question is, are you like the sun, which is shining as brightly as it can be, and the sun is always the metaphor for you for how you are here to be the light, dispelling the darkness of the world? And that, you hear the words probably like I do, like I am the truth, the life, the way. Jesus saying that, and yet there are those who say, I am is the life, is the truth, the life, the way. And Jesus is telling you that I am the example of what you are here to be. And don't mistake, Jesus was concerned about people forming a religion and worshiping him instead of getting his message and realizing that he was here to show you what you are here and meant and destined to be yourself. And he didn't want people forming churches and religions and, worshiping him. They wanted him to hear his message. Remember what I said about Shravana, which means to really hear? Hear this message and receive God yourself as the light you are here to be. And the sun is that metaphor or visual of shining your light. You are here to be, and I think Jesus said, you are the light of the world. I don't remember if he said it exactly in those words, but I think it was very close to that. You are here to be the light, dispelling the darkness everywhere it still had remained. Look at the American flag, for example. Do you think that there is anything random about the stars in the sky? In the dark sky? The stars being the light? Because you are here to be this star right here, and then the fire in your star, the light you are shining, is what is reigniting the fire within the next 3 stars, like all your online friends, who are then igniting the light, the fire, being the light in the lives of all of their friends and their friends and their friends and their friends. And that's how, from you, the whole world is reignited again in the light, being the light, dispelling the darkness everywhere it still remained. And notice how the blue is the darkness and the red is a reflection of all of us having that fire within us reignited. Pretty clear, right? Because the fire is red. Freedom is the fire. The fires of freedom burning brightly within you. Like my book, Reignited America. This is how we are all reigniting the fires of freedom everywhere on the planet. And being the light, dispelling the darkness anywhere it still remains. So the sun is the visual for you as the light you are here to be, except the sun is only, whatever, I don't know how much power the sun has, like the stars on the flag. Each star is what? Like the sun. With you being that star, the sun, and igniting that fire within everyone you are blessed to be able to serve. Like, for example, all of your online friends right here by you leading them through this Operation Greatness podcast. So right now, do this through your Operation Greatness chapter link. That's through operationgreatness.com/leader. And there, so all of these, I asked you from the beginning to write down all the insights and to really take them to heart and relate them to what's happening in your life right now. And then from there, turn them into posts that you are sharing on all of your online social media, because this is how you are leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating everyone you are blessed to have connected with you, all of whom you are the greatest contribution anyone has ever made in their lives. Because after all, you are God's gift to the world. And the more of an impact you are having on the people you are blessed to be able to serve, that's how life is supporting you. That's how you are rewarding. That's your source of happiness, joy, fulfillment, well-being, peace of mind, success, prosperity, meaning, impact, contribution. The more of an impact you're having, the greater the difference you're making, the more you are rewarded by life. In this case, by you leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating everyone connected with you, doing a little more today and being of greater service through your chapter, through operationgreatness.com/leader. All of the posts you are making through your chapter link are leading everyone connected with you through being that light among all of their friends, dispelling the darkness, to being that star, that sun in the sky, that star on our flag in the blue darkness, shining their light. That's you being this star, and then lighting the 3 stars next to that. I'm talking about like in the upper corner of the flag, there's 1 star, that's you, and then in the next row after that is 3 stars. That's 3 of your online friends. That represents all of your online friends, you transforming their lives by leading them into this Operation Greatness podcast. And then the 3 stars in the next row is 5 stars, because all of them are transforming all of their friends the same way you are transforming all of your friends right here. And you're doing this through your chapter link, and they're doing it through their chapter link that they got through joining your chapter, as well as leading their own through you. And so then from 1 becomes 3, and from 3, the next row diagonally from the top is 5 stars, and then there's 7 stars, and then there's 9 stars, and there's 11 stars after that. And that's how we are leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating everyone connected with us online as well as in our local communities, because this is you being the light you are. So how is this connecting for you? You know that, wow, I have to do this. This is the higher purpose of my life, and this is also the higher purpose of social media. This is why I am blessed, gifted to have all of these people online that I can lead, inspire, transform, and liberate, doing just a little more work today and being of greater service. You know that, right? It's pretty obvious, right? Because this is how you are shining your light as brightly as the sun, dispelling the darkness anywhere it still remains. So breathe in that. Feel that, know that, own that, and create that, achieve that, live that. Because that is why you are here, and this is your greatest contribution. And just to put some numbers to this, like how many online friends can you lead, inspire, transform, and liberate just by leading them into this podcast through your chapter link? Like I have 182,700, I think, friends on Twitter. And I guess I better take a sip of water here because I'm so passionate about this, in case you didn't notice. Actually, this is the last of my Earl Grey tea. So I have like 182,000 some people following me on Twitter, and like 5,100 or whatever on Facebook, and then, the rest of them are less than that. But so, whatever, let's say that's 190 some thousand people. I can lead, inspire, transform, and liberate. Well, so how many people is that for you? Is that like, 10,000, 10 million, whatever it is? Well, do that. Bring them into this podcast through your chapter link, your Operation Greatness chapter that you got through operationgreatness.com/leader. And so you're leading every one of your online friends through transforming their own lives and being that inspired visionary leader, transforming the lives of all of their friends. You're transforming your life. You're transforming all of your online friends. All of them are leading all of their friends to transform their lives and be that person in the lives of all of their friends. You see, this is the monumental turning point in human history by every one of us taking this to heart. Being that light we are destined to be. That's why I say this is your higher purpose. Because of you, humanity transformed. That's how important you are to the world. Is there any question about that? That's why this is the higher purpose of your life and the higher purpose of social media. So just for example, just to give you an illustration of this, like we say the stars transforming, like one star transforming 3 stars, transforming 5 stars on the American flag. Well, by you getting your 1,200 people, that's all it takes is 1,200 people to show you how this works, except get every one of your online friends. Don't limit it to just 1,200. I mean, I'm sure you have like 3,800 or, 5,000 or 100,000 or 10 million, whatever it is. I mean, lead every one of them. No man or woman or child left behind, right? But just with 1,200 people, by you getting your 1,200 people who are getting their 1,200 people, now you have inspired and transformed 1,440,000 people by them leading their chapters through you, then they are getting their 1,200 people. Now, how much impact have you had with your life because you are God's gift to the world? You're God's instrument for miracles, and this is absolutely the Holy Spirit or the presence of God moving through you to be of greater service to more people, like every one of your online friends as well as everyone in your local area. Those 1,440,000 people you transformed just by getting your 1,200 people to get their 1,200 people. Now, those 1,440,000 people are getting their 1,200 people, and you, my friend, have transformed the lives of 1.72 billion people. Really hear that message, because remember, you, being the light you are, dispelling the darkness anywhere it still remains, and 1.72 billion people being that source of light themselves, shining their light as brightly as the sun, as the star, they too are in the evening sky, the source of light in the blue field of darkness. That is the measure of the value of your life. That is the gift you are, as God's gift to the world, as God's instrument for miracles in the world. This is how much you truly matter. Just like the sun is the source of all life, and the metaphor for the impact you are here to have on the world, on the planet, in the lives of every one of us, on the whole human family, this is how much you matter. This is the higher purpose of your life. This is your divine design, duty, destiny, dharma. Is there any question about that? This is the person you are here to be. You are here to shine your light as brightly as the sun, to dispel the darkness everywhere it still remains. Let's go back to that visual that we shared before of, are you turning your back to the light and being that obstruction causing a shadow, and then what you'd see as a result of that is the darkness, instead of turning your back to the light, in other words, you're facing the light again, and then you are reflecting the light instead of focusing on the darkness that you are causing by the obstruction you are to the light. I'm doing this visually if you're watching the video as a chapter leader through operationgreatness.com/leader by holding my hand in front of the light, and then when the palm of my hand is like turning my back to the light, then I'm seeing the shadow, which is the darkness in the world. So, were you giving your attention to the darkness, or are you now turning back to the light? And what is the light? In this case, the light is God. The light is you going back to your center, the center of your being, focusing on that, feeling that. It's easy when we think of God as being the light, and you are keeping your focus, which is your power, on God, keeping your attention within you, within your center, and that is what you are empowering, because where you give your attention is where you are giving your power, is how you are creating your life, is how we are creating our world. That's how life works. Everything is cause and effect. You are prime cause. Where you are choosing to give your attention is where you are choosing to give your power, and that becomes how you are creating your life and how we are creating our world. Nothing matters more than where you are choosing to give your attention. So that's definitely one that you want to write out, take in, contemplate, see, hear, feel, master, and know. This is how everything in my life works. This is how I am creating my life based on what I am choosing to give my attention. So are you giving your attention unknowingly or unconsciously or without being mindful and responsible for this fundamental choice? I mean, I have to insert this here as a little pause. I don't know if you know this or not. I've taught Think and Grow Rich at the master's level since way back in 2003. And one key fundamental in that book, which is credited with creating more wealth than anything in history, including more than 1 million millionaires. And by the way, with your help, we are together changing that through Operation Greatness. By you leading your Operation Greatness chapter, we are creating more millionaires than Napoleon Hill created with Think and Grow Rich through operationgreatness.com/leader through your chapter. Anyway, Napoleon Hill tells us that Andrew Carnegie, once regarded as the richest person in the world, said that, really hear this message, God, in his infinite wisdom, gave man absolute control over but one thing. Fortunately for him, that one thing was enough for him to have everything that he desires, and that one thing is what he chooses to give his attention. That's exactly what we are talking about here. So that choice, what you are choosing to give your attention, is, because you are prime cause, that choice, what you are choosing as the focus you are giving your attention, which is giving your power, that determines the whole course of your life. You are prime cause. What you are experiencing is the effect you created. That right there is a $10 trillion insight. $12 trillion, in fact, because power of 12, root 12 is more powerful, root 10 is not. That's empty, that's bereft of power. We'll probably do a show on that one of these days. So, what are you choosing to give your attention? Is it, okay, really hear this message as well. Remember, this is the one choice you have, where you are choosing to give your attention, because that's what you are empowering and that's what's becoming your life in our world. And now you are choosing the light. You are choosing to be the light. And what does that mean? That means to use your power responsibly, honorably, in being of greater service, and not feeding the darkness, not empowering the darkness, not creating more of what you don't want, because you are responsible for how you are using your power, because that's how you are creating your life and how we are creating our world. So now you're really hearing this message and you're thinking, wow, he's totally right. I was giving my attention to what I did not want, and I made that stronger, and that became my life and our world. And that was irresponsible of me. How could I have been so careless? Well, I didn't know. Now you know, so now you're using your power responsibly every moment. So this is your higher purpose. This is your divine design, duty, destiny, dharma. This is your responsibility. I mean, like before when I said, by you transforming your 1,200 people, by leading them to joining your Operation Greatness chapter through operationgreatness.com/leader, and them getting their 1,200 people joining their Operation Greatness chapters through operationgreatness.com/leader as well, and those 1,440,000 people getting their 1,200 people through that same link, operationgreatness.com/leader, you have transformed the lives of 1.72 billion people. You saw that happens as a result of you getting your 1,200 people joining your chapter. So you have the ability to transform the lives of 1.72 billion people. When you have the ability to do something, included within that ability is the responsibility to do that. That's obvious, right? When you know you can be of greater service to more people, you have the obligation, the responsibility, the duty to do that, to have the impact you are capable of having, to be of service to everyone you can be, is your work, your purpose, your mission, your reason for being. So honor that. Be that inspired visionary leader of not just your 1,200 people, of all of your online friends, by leading them right here through this Operation Greatness chapter meeting through operationgreatness.com/leader to become part of your chapter and lead their own chapters as well, as God's instrument for miracles, being God's gift to the world that you are. This is how you are having more impact than anyone on the planet has ever had, other than Mahatma Gandhi, maybe, who transformed the lives of 1 billion people by getting India independent, by expelling tyranny from India, just as all of us are liberating humanity now by expelling tyranny and being the light, dispelling the darkness. And the other, Jesus Christ, had more impact than 1 billion people. I mean, how many billions of people did Jesus lead, inspire, transform, and liberate. And he did that by helping 12 people transform their lives, the 12 disciples, right? And then they went on and moved mountains and transformed the world. That's like what you are doing right here, or what God is doing through you right here, by leading you to lead, inspire, transform, and liberate all of your online friends as well as everyone in your local community through leading your own Operation Greatness chapter, by all the posts that you're sharing here and leading people to join your chapter through operationgreatness.com/leader. You're hearing all of this, and this is how you are being the light and not unknowingly or carelessly or foolishly serving the darkness. Where are you giving your attention now? To being the light, right? The light you are, to allowing God to work through you as God's instrument for miracles to transform the lives of every one of your online friends, who are then transforming the lives of every one of their online friends, who are transforming the lives of every one of theirs. 1,200 times 1,200 times 1,200 is 1.72 billion people. This is happening by you doing this for yourself and with and for every one of your online friends, who are doing it with and for every one of their online friends. And this is, is there any way that you can conceive or imagine or believe that you could have any greater impact than this? 1.72 billion people whose lives are transformed and liberated as a result of you doing this yourself and doing this with your online friends? It is that simple, and this is happening. We're all doing this together through operationgreatness.com/leader. This is how you are shining your light. Being the light, it is your destiny, it is your gift, it is your blessing, it is your purpose to be. Is there any question about that? Because by you giving this your attention, this is what you are giving your power. This is what you are reigniting. You're shining your light. What is that? That's like fuel. And when you shine a laser on fire, what does it do? It explodes. It becomes that much brighter. It reignites, like reignited America, by you shining your light, dispelling the darkness everywhere it still remained. This is where you are giving your power. This is where you are giving your attention. This is your focus. This is your purpose. Breathe in this, feel this, know this, see this, experience this, achieve this, and giving none of your attention to anything you don't want, because you're no longer giving that your power. You're no longer feeding that. That's the darkness. No more. You're the light. The light does not diminish itself, does not feed the darkness. How can you... If I say, show me a darkness, well, I'm going to turn on the light, and where is that darkness? No, the darkness is caused by an obstruction of the light. You were that obstruction, but now you're turning back to the light, and that darkness is gone now, because you're reflecting light. You're shining the light as you're shining your light as brightly as the sun. And the sun is always your ever-present reminder, I'm here to be the light, dispelling the darkness. I'm turning my attention back to God. I'm turning within and feeling the presence of God in my life, and that is the source of my light. I'm receiving God. That's my purpose. My work is extending God in the world. I'm not blocking myself anymore, limiting myself, holding back in fear, doubt, worry, coming from scarcity, lack consciousness, because that's the darkness. What is God other than the word that I use personally to describe the infinite, unlimited, present everywhere, omnipresent? What does that mean? There is nowhere God is not, including within me. That is the light God is the light. Jesus said, I am the light, the truth, the life, the way. I am. Who are you? I am. I am the presence of God in this world. I am God's instrument for miracles. I am God's gift to the world. You are how God is blessing the world. It is through your life. You are here doing God's work. How else are people's lives blessed, transformed, liberated, other than through you? I mean, when's the last time you looked up and saw a hand reach down from the sky and give people pots of gold? No, it's through you. God works miracles through you, through the people. I mean, is there any question that this gift is God's gift to you to open you to receiving God at the same level Jesus showed us is possible 100%? Because this is the person you are here to be, shining your light as brightly as the sun. Is there any question about any of this? How much good are you doing in the world as a result of hearing this message and taking it to heart and not holding back? Because holding back is what? Darkness, fear. And what is fear? Absence of light, the shadow. No, you're not turning your back on God. You are keeping yourself focused on God, receiving God, and then extending God, reflecting the light of God into the world, shining your light as brightly as the sun. Or if you're thinking of it another way, like reflecting the light of God, well, what is that? The moon, right? The more the moon is full, the more light of the sun is reflected into the darkness of the night sky. The brighter the stars are, the less darkness there is in the sky as well, right? By you shining your light, by you reflecting the light of God, the more light there is in the world, the less darkness there is in the world. All of these things are so obvious and so apparent, so live by these insights. Receive the gift of all of this completely, because you are here to be that inspired visionary leader of everyone you are blessed to be able to serve, to lead, inspire, transform, and liberate, doing a little more today in being of greater service. Like all of your online friends right here, by you going back to the beginning of this conversation and writing down, if you haven't been doing that, all of the insights that I've shared with you or that God has given you directly here, relating them to your life and posting your thoughts like, wow, I just watched this podcast and it said that I am here to be the light dispelling the darkness in the world. And that made me think, and then share your thoughts. Like at first I was thinking, well, no, Jesus is the way. And yet, when I think about it, Jesus did say that I am here that I am going to do all of the things that Jesus did and so much more. And Jesus did so much. And yet now I see I really have the power to transform the lives of 1.72 billion people just by getting you and 1,199 more people of my online friends to go to this link, and then you share your chapter link through operationgreatness.com/leader. And so by you leading every one of your online friends through joining your chapter and being that inspired visionary leader themselves of their own chapters through that same link, operationgreatness.com/leader, you're showing them, you're giving them financial freedom money, the ability to create billions of dollars themselves, as this is for every one of us, because there's no limit to the infinite and unlimited. And how could you ever be so arrogant to think that it was appropriate or that it was even possible for you to limit the unlimited in any way, for you to deny God full expression in your life in being of greater service? How is that ever even possible or appropriate? I mean, for you to have held back in any way because of fear, well, that was because you were obstructing God, you were turning your back to God, and you were facing the darkness instead, and that's what you were giving your attention, which is your power, and that's how you were creating your life before now, because now you're facing God. You're turning your back on the darkness, and the darkness never was, so it does not remain. Instead, you're reflecting the light of God. You're dispelling the darkness with your life. You're allowing God to work miracles through the instrument you are. You are God's gift to the world. Is there any question about that now? Now you're receiving God and now are able to extend God fully in the world. That's how you are shining your light as brightly as the sun. And the sun is your ever-present reminder in the sky of the light you are here to be in the world. Is there any question about any of this? So absolutely lead every one of your online friends through this message, this chapter meeting, through your Operation Greatness chapter link, through operationgreatness.com/leader. This is how you are leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating every one of your online friends. And you can do this with everyone in your local community as well. There's no limit to the unlimited, to the infinite and unlimited. And you're how God is expressing miracles in the world through the gift you are. This is your destiny, your higher purpose, your greatest contribution. This is how God is working through you to transform the world. This is your destiny. This is your purpose. So be it. Receive God completely, 100% out of 100%. That's knowledge, that's wisdom, that's liberation, that's freedom. That's you. This is your destiny. This is why you are here. This is your higher purpose. So be it. And then from you receiving God completely, knowing God completely, now you are extending God completely as God's gift to the world. So be it. This is all through operationgreatness.com/leader. So take the, well, let's see, we're 114 minutes almost. So take your 114 posts that you made from this chapter meeting, all of which you have shared your chapter link. Take all of them and put them into one essay that you're sending me, and send that to me at dan@danclatt.com. And by the way, if you went to danclatt.com, you would see that if I were to coach you personally for 1 hour, you would pay me $5,000 for that time, because it's worth so much more than that. So now we've gone like an hour and quarter, let's say. So that would cost you like $6,250. This chapter meeting was worth way, way more than that. Like you could add about 1,000 times that, like $6.25 million. That's what I would estimate as the value of this Operation Greatness chapter meeting. Would you agree with me on that? It's actually worth billions of dollars to you if you take it to heart and really hear it. I mean, of course, it's up to you and God what you do with this. Let's just say that when you become a chapter leader yourself through operationgreatness.com/leader, as we are all doing through this chapter meeting right here, the first class we're doing is class number 1 of our Think and Grow Rich workshop. The Think and Grow Rich workshop costs $9.97 to do, and we're doing 1/3 of it. It's 3 classes are $9.97. We're doing class 1 today. In our chapter leader Private Wealth Alliance, we're doing class 1 of the Think and Grow Rich workshop. The morning of that class, I clearly saw that thousands of people were taking what they are learning in our Think and Grow Rich workshop, and they were becoming billionaires as a result of that. I believe you are one of them. Do you feel that yourself? No longer playing small, no longer limiting yourself, no longer holding back in fear, doubt, worry, scarcity, lack. None of that is you anymore, because you're turning away from the darkness and you are turning back to God, and you are shining the light of God as brightly as the sun. There's no limiting the unlimited. You're not holding back or playing small anymore. You are here as God's gift to the world. You are here as God's instrument for miracles. So be it. All of this, I want you to share all of these insights and your reactions to them, your responses to them, how you are taking them to heart, making them your own, and leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating everyone you are blessed to be able to serve. All of these posts, you can transform so many more people by sharing all of these posts you're making with every one of us in the chapter leader Private Wealth Alliance at operationgreatness.com/leader. Do this yourself. Do this with and for all of your online friends. You're transforming them, and they are then transforming all of their online friends. As we saw, 1,200 becomes 1,440,000 becomes 1.72 billion people. By you doing this yourself and just bringing 1,200 people into your chapter, leading their own chapters. This is your higher purpose. It's the higher purpose of social media. This is how God is working through every one of us to liberate every one of us. This is all through the gift you are. Really take this to heart. Really own this. Really see this, because this is how you are shining your light as brightly as you are. There's no limit to that. I get chills here again. Feel this. Sit with this. Meditate on this. Breathe in this. Allow this to serve you completely. Will you do that? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This has been so great for me to be in your company and see this transformation in you happening in real time. This has been such an honor, because you are such an honorable force as God's instrument for so much more love, peace, happiness, joy, fulfillment, well-being, prosperity. You are such a gift. If you could only recognize how much of a gift I know you as being, because I see it in you. I know how much you matter. I know you are here to move mountains and transform the world. And that's what we are doing together right here. So I'm so grateful for you, honoring you and allowing God to move through you and to do so much good in the world. I appreciate you. I love you. I believe in you. I know the difference you are here, the blessing you are here to be. Thank you.